Prima Media's Mining Weekly is interviewing Jan Nelson, the CEO of Copper 360, which is guiding a positive revenue of 1.2 billion rand to 1.9 billion rand in the current financial year, after just reporting a negative of 38.2 billion for the 12 months to the end of February this year. Hi, Jan, it's great to chat to you once again. The strong reversal of negative to positive is good news. Against that solid background, what is the latest news that you can give us to update us on beyond the Rietberg future projects that Copper 360 has in its pipeline?
Yes, Martin. Well, the Rietberg mine, as at the end of this month, will start producing rock. So that's good. It's feeding the Namakwa plant, which we bought. And the Namakwa plant is gearing up. The SXEW is gearing up. In about 2 months, the MFP1 plant will be complete with its construction. And then in terms of projects, we're busy looking at Jubilee. We're busy looking at UMIP East. And we're busy looking at Fontaine, where we've completed our resource estimates, and the mining engineers are now busy with their mine optimization studies. So those will be the projects that we're busy with in the pipeline.
And I'd like to just focus a bit on Fontaine, particularly. Are those studies being done still pointing to a possible Chile type or DRC type major mine in the offing, but with much better grade?
Yes, Martin, we're currently seeing that there's potentially 1.2 to 1.5 billion tons of copper metal in the ground. And we reckon that those mines can produce anywhere between 50 to 100,000 tons of copper metal per annum at grades of between 1.5% to 2.5% copper. So they are the size of some of the mines that you see in the DRC. So that's the size of these ore bodies. They are significant ore bodies that we are busy delineating. And obviously, we will still declare our proper SAMREC resource. But this gives you an idea of the size. If we use the word drill indicated from what we've seen, this certainly is the size of these ore bodies, and it excites us. And that's why you'll see our growth profile also jumps from 20,000 tons to 50,000 tons. It's because of these ore bodies being able to feed into our production profile.
And are we talking also now about Jubilee, or are we just focusing on Fontaine?
We're focusing on Fontaine, UMIP East, and there's 1 or 2 satellite deposits next to them that will feed into this. But Martin, these are major and significant big ore bodies.
And what looks like being the biggest eventual mine in the Copper 360 mine project pipeline?
Martin, I think certainly Fontaine will be one of the biggest. It was historically the highest grade mine in the area, and it certainly looks that it could potentially become the biggest mine in the group.
And Newmont were mining that. Were Newmont mining all of these, or were they just looking at them and studying them?
Newmont mined at Fontaine. It was one of the highest grade mines. I think at one stage, the grades were almost up to 10 to 15% copper, at one stage. So we're not seeing those grades. We're seeing grades of between 1.5%, 2.5%, 3%, but over significant widths. So they were mined, and there's still a hell of a lot of ore left.
Then moving from underground pipeline projects to tailings on surface, how much copper tailings material does Copper 360 have on surface? And is there still a possible partnership with DRD's Far West gold recoveries?
Martin, we've got about 60 million tons of tailings material on surface, and we entered into that JV partnership with DRD. They've completed their drilling, and they're busy with the analysis of the samples in the lab at the moment, so we're waiting for the results. But at this stage, the JV is still pretty much alive, and I think the future will be guided by the assay results that we receive back. After that, one will have to do metallurgical test work, and obviously DRD is driving that. So we're at that stage now where they're doing the sampling, and then they'll do the test work, and that will determine whether it's viable for us to process these dumps. But the JV is still alive at the moment.
And do you think that those studies and assays and tests could be completed this year?
Martin, no, definitely they'll be completed this year. The test work will probably take about another 2 months or so. There's quite a lot of test work one has to do. And I think with these deposits, the capital profile is the one that's important to get that right, because these are small, you have to push quite a lot of volume on these projects. But those studies will still be finished in the year.
What should be the biggest takeaway when it comes to Copper 360 as a whole?
Martin, I think if you look at our EBITDA, it was negative by 118 million. It was mostly affected by load shedding, and we had poor recoveries, and we had to stop our plants for 3 months in the beginning of the year. But I think the key takeaway is that we've now turned the corner. We've put in a battery farm that can negate the effects of load shedding. We are cash positive on both plants at the moment, and building up to, within the next 3 months, to 70 million rand of monthly revenue, with a profit margin of 50%. So we've turned the corner. We've got 3 plants that will produce within the next 3 months. A rock coming from Rietberg and Jubilee, which gives us a lot of flexibility. And we're now on the home straight to produce quite a bit of cash.
That was Cream Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to Jan Nelson, the CEO of Copper 360.